Alright guys, quick down and dirty video about the Rise of Skywalker publishing lineup that they announced 4 days ago. I'm filming this on May 8th. They announced it for Star Wars Day. I was kind of hoping for Celebration Anaheim dates instead, but this will do just fine. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of the literature, big fan of the novels, and just the written medium in general. And there's quite a bit to delve into, surprisingly. Very clearly showing that we're going to be getting a significant time jump, at least a year or so. First up is Resistance Reborn. And in this journey to Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, Poe, Dameron, General Way Organa, Rey, and Finn must struggle to rebuild the Resistance after their defeat at the hands of the First Order in Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, with that being said, I was a little bit confused about this just because there were certain things that Oscar Isaac was saying about Episode 9 where, just in interviews and stuff, where he's talking about how the one of the struggles that Poe especially has to deal with is, you know, how can you be a leader when there's no one to lead? So it feels like Episode 9 should have been what this story is, which is rebuilding the Resistance. But maybe the whole point of this book is going to be about creating all the little cells and getting the movement started. And then Episode 9 is going to be about uniting all of those different cells a la Rogue One. That's my assumption, at least. Now, with that being said, up next is Force Collector. This is probably the most interesting thing to me, just because it's super war heavy. In this Journey to Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker young adult novel, set just before The Force Awakens, a restless teenager sets out to discover what connection his mysterious Force powers have to the fabled Jedi and what the Force has in store for him. This is probably going to be a brand new character, I'm assuming. Some people have been thinking that it might be Kylo. But I don't think that's going to be right, just because, I mean, sets out to discover what connection his mysterious Force powers have to the fabled Jedi and what the Force has in store for him. Some people were thinking that it might be War Santeca, which sounds awesome, but set just before The Force Awakens. War Santeca is not a teenager in The Force Awakens. So, I'm not sure, but this is exciting in general because we're going to hopefully get a lot of weird artifacts and stuff. Like, even just on the cover here, he has what looks like a dead lightsaber hilt. It has what looks like a holocron back there, Jedi training remote. Everybody uses these training remotes because there was one just chilling out on the Falcon in A New Hope, but the Jedi very heavily utilize these to train in blaster deflection techniques and stuff like that. And if we get to see the story of, or the legend of the Jedi told from just a regular old Joe Blow from nowhere, sounds really exciting. That's one of the reasons why I like the character of Rey so much, is because she's learning about the Jedi and about the legacy of the Jedi and the legacy of the Skywalkers from an outsider's perspective. And I always love it when fiction, especially Star Wars, does that sort of thing, like Fire and Blood, the new Game of Thrones book that came out recently, or Song of Ice and Fire book, whatever, where, yeah, this is the story about the Targaryen takeover and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but it's being written by some Baster librarian guy 300 years afterward. It's written from in-universe, from that in-universe perspective. So I'm very excited about Force Collector. Now we're getting a Star Wars Allegiance, a Marvel run, comic miniseries on the run since the destruction of Starkiller Base, General Way, and the remaining handful of resistance have barely managed to survive, much less strike back against the superior forces of the First Order. Running low on options, Leia decides to reach out to her former allies, the Mon Calamari, whose shipyards once powered the Rebel Alliance. Highly exciting. This will probably be the first serious comic series that I will be reviewing, whatever this happens to be. Just because I love the Mon Cala, I love the idea of resource building and all that kind of stuff, and figuring out how, because you have that whole deal regarding tactics in military situations. I'm really big into the war side of Star Wars, and there's some quote from somewhere, I don't know what it is. It's probably one of those Sun Tzu quotes or something like that, but the amateur thinks in terms of tactics and the master thinks in terms of logistics, and seeing them do put a focus, put a spotlight on, hey, we need ships. Where the hell are we going to get ships from? Getting that as a comic miniseries sounds really, really exciting. Now we've got a whole ton of just little golden books and, elementary school reader level stuff. All of these are incredibly exciting for people with very young siblings, or people with very young cousins, or people with very young children. My youngest sibling is turning 13 in a few days, actually, I believe. I feel bad. Let's see her birthday is. But anyway, she's 12 or 13, so these are probably a little bit, and she's a very advanced reader. So for her, the Force Collector book is probably going to be more her speed. But these are here. I'll run through them real quick. We Are the Resistance, a golden book. Just about brave heroes of the Resistance and their fight against the First Order. Probably not going to be very canon heavy, but I think that, pick them up from the library, take a look. And I mean, Kevin Scott is doing another Choose Your Destiny series for this, and while I've not read any of them, my good friend Jess from the Star Wars Refuge YouTube channel absolutely swears by these books and how much she loves them. And Kevin Scott is a fantastic author. I'm actually going to be turning around pretty soon and filming from a different angle to film my review of Dooku Jedi Lost. And that makes me very excited. We're getting our kind of legacy in these Journey 2 books for the Skywalker saga things, is you get these, red and black themed or artwork themed short stories. First we had, oh good lord, we had Smuggler's Run. We had the series of 4. There was Smuggler's Run, Weapon of a Jedi, Moving Target, and Before the Awakening. In Journey to The Force Awakens, and then Last Jedi had Bomber Command, and now we're getting Arc of Resistance, written by Justina Ireland. When a distress plea goes up from the isolated planet of Minfar, Resistance heroes Rey, Poe, and Rose hear the call. Yay, more Rose stories. I like Rose. Sue me. Together, they will face down a First Order battalion, terrifying flying creatures, and a weapon that could change the course of the war. Also, extremely exciting. I really am looking forward to finally getting the whole gang from the previous 2 sequel trilogy movies actually together. We're getting that with Spark of Resistance. We're going to get that with Resistance Reborn. Overall, highly, highly excited about just getting to see, Rey, Poe, and Rose all doing a thing, and getting Rey, Finn, and Poe all doing a thing together. Getting more Star Wars Adventures books, or comics, excuse me, whatever they are. Again, because they're kiddie stuff. which is very important to, provide to that audience. I mean, there's a whole ton of young fans out there. Um, but for me, they're just not my speed. I might pick up a couple of them here or there, but still interesting. We're getting another Ultimate Star Wars, which I don't buy these because, like, the complete Ultimate Star Wars, whatever's, it says Ultimate Star Wars or complete uh, aliens and whatever of the Star Wars. I don't get them because they end up being obsolete by the next movie or by the next television series because we're getting three of those now. We've got Resistance, Mandalorian, and then whatever the casting series is going to be called. So I'm personally not going to pick these up unless it's going to be an impulse buy where I'm just like, okay, maybe there's some fun, cool little extra canon stuff in there. But getting sticker books, and this is one that I will be buying, which is a cinemagic book of the movie making magic of Star Wars ships and battles. Go behind the scenes of the biggest movie franchise of all time in this immersive and interactive book to see how the most iconic vehicles in the galaxy, from the Millennium Falcon to X-Wings and TIE Fighters to AT-ATs and the Death Star, were created and used in the films of the Star Wars saga. Collectible book including special interactive elements, including 6-page booklets, accordion folds, whatever those are, flaps that reveal the magic behind the movies, a behind-the-scenes look at how they do the ships and stuff. I'm a ship guy. Very, very exciting for me as well. And then we're getting some just novelty stuff where, you got the Rise of Skywalker, the Resistance, it's one of those like noisy things where, you're going to keep pressing the button over and over and over again until it starts sounding demonic. And then press it even more because it's funny, because it sounds demonic. Play sets, search and finds. Then this was the real big thing that went all over Twitter and Instagram and stuff. The art of books. I love the art of books. I think I've got... Nope, I actually put the rest of them in the closet, actually, when I cleaned up the office earlier today. But I absolutely adore the art of books author that's done all of them, Phil Szostak. I figured out how to say it. I practiced it before starting to film this video. I still screwed it up. But he's a fantastic author. You need to follow him on Twitter for a big thing there. And I mean, they're fantastic reads. I mean, you never know when they're going to be useful. Like when we saw the Death Star ruins in the water, everybody went, "Wait a minute. I think I remember looking at something back in 2015 in the Art of the Force Awakens book." And sure enough, there was concept art of the hero of the sequel trilogy before her name was Kira or Rey. Before she was really fully conceptualized, the hero of the sequel trilogy was going to dive down into the depths of and explore the ruins of the Skywalker legacy. So you never know when these are going to come in handy just for referencing. And it's fascinating to see how the visual skeleton for the film comes together. And obviously you got your hardcore, yin yang referencing. He's lit up, Kylo's body's lit up in red, her body's lit up in blue. He's the embodiment of the dark, she's the embodiment of the light, but she's standing in a landscape that's all fiery and doomy, and he's standing in a very pure, serene landscape, water, you get it. Visual storytelling straight to the face. I think that's about it. We got visual dictionaries. Very exciting. Pablo Hidalgo writing that as usual. Official movie special, which is basically just going to be a standalone magazine, sort of like an entire magazine of the Entertainment Weekly exclusive stuff, exclusive coverage and stuff like that. Obviously more kids fiction. And the official guide, which is going to be, it's listed underneath kids nonfiction, so I'm guessing this is more like, this is going to be like the visual dictionary, but for kids. It's going to be this, but the above is set up for adults, this is set up for kids. And yeah, I mean, I'm crazy excited about pretty much everything that got announced, other than obviously the stuff that's clearly not marketed towards me. Art of Book, very excited for. Ships and Battles, even, I'm very excited for. Again, probably not going to buy this unless it's some random thing, but I never buy these at all, and they come out with one or more of these every single year, whether it be a complete aliens guide or a complete ship guide or a complete vehicle guide or a complete weapons guide or whatever. You end up with I never buy those in the first place, so there's that. Arc of Resistance and Resistance Reborn, extremely hyped for. And Force Collector, I'd probably say, is my number one thing that I'm looking forward to. But anyways, I'm going to go film my review of Dooku Jedi Lost and then grab myself some food and then start editing these. So let me know, of these books in the journey to Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, what are you most hyped for? Is it going to be the Force Collector? Is it going to be the Resistance Reborn? Is it going to be the nonfiction stuff like the guides and the visual dictionaries and stuff like that? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, Force be with you guys. Take care.